are not necessarily those of Fresh Air Incorporated, its
Okay.
staff, or
Go
its
down.
board of directors.
All right.
Your trumpet.
No, you don't have to do anything.
Oh,
You're
okay.
fine. Are you hearing anything? Is it
Yep, I've got the.
is it
I've got
good
the
or
signal.
is it not, it's not delaying or
No.
it's not a feedback loop? Okay.
No echo or
That
anything.
means you're
That's
good.
all. Okay.
All right, it'll work out.
Is this Nujima?
Nujima.
Nujima. Okay. So you're hearing this? Are you hearing this? Okay. All right.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Break the world and take away the layers of her skin. Fractured and divided pain, she may let you in. Only for a moment where she tolerates your greed. Got some more than broken soil, exceeds what you need. Wake up, you can hear her.
This is our 44th year, right?
Yes.
Is there any way to maximize that?
No,
Oh,
I've tried.
okay.
I've tried.
Good thing I didn't try last weekend. I might have shut us down. So.
Did you?
No, I didn't. I didn't.
You
I didn't want
did
to touch
good.
it.
You did good.
Sorry.
You got heavy glasses on at all time, or? You need those to operate your vehicle. You need the glasses to operate your.
I need one more arm too.
Good.
Sometimes. I wish there was a way that we could stream the video on this, because it's a video
What do you mean stream?
on the website,
On whose website?
KFI, while this is playing, because it's really cool.
Nah, it would be cool.
Okay.
Yeah, down the road maybe. That would be cool. I know our website's fun.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
One minute. Well, from the mountains to the ocean and from the deserts to the forest, yes, Ms., Mr., and whatever other gender there might be out there, Native America, it is time to wake up, wake up, wake up. It is 1:06 p.m. Central Daylight Time here in Turtle Island, and you are listening to Indigeneity Rising. I'm your host, Roy Taylor, Pawnee Nation of Oklahoma. And we're going to be talking later this hour about all things indigenous reality, identity, and experience. So thank you for tuning in. And we're also in the middle of our 44th year of operation and our summer membership pledge drive. So thank you for listening. Be sure and tell your family, friends, supporters, other allies, and also have them go to kfai.org and they can click on the donate page. It's an easy access portal, and they'll be able to provide financial support, but there's other ways of supporting us here at KFAI. We can tell you more about that in this next hour. So great volunteer opportunities for the rest of this summer. I can assure you that there are a lot of fun activities. I was just at one on Sunday afternoon here in Minneapolis on Franklin Avenue as part of the Open Streets initiative that the city's been involved in. And DJ Miguel Vargas, the Radio Pocho, and Cedar Sunrise, and I held down the KFAI table there in spite of thunderstorms and rain, a high wind, and all of that, because we were motivated by those fry bread tacos that were just being made right across the street. So, all right, like I said, this is Roy Taylor, and you're listening to Indigeneity Rising, heard only on KFAI, Fresh Air Community Radio, 90.3 FM HD in Minneapolis and St. Paul. And we are streaming all across Turtle Island and around the world at kfai.org, where we're also archived for up to 2 weeks. So you can check this program out as well. And as we always open every program, that was Kelly Jackson. She is Lac de Flambeau from northern Wisconsin, Lake Superior, Chippewa. And she is now out of, she operates out of Madison, I believe, Madison, Wisconsin. That was Theo Yancey, also on the hip hop interlude in the middle there. That is Wake Up. We always use that as our theme here. She composed that after her experience at Standing Rock. Going on about 5-6 years ago now. That's off of 2017 Songs of Iniqua. So I hope you enjoy that. Wow, we've got a great program here here in the Twins. It's starting to warm up into something very nice. I was looking at the weather forecast, and we're going into a heat wave later this weekend. But we've got a lot of Indian people out doing all kinds of fun things. I'm going to tell you a little bit about that in a minute. And later in the hour, we are going to have Thomas Draskovic with the Pretendians. We're going to talk with him by phone and an event that he's going to be at on Saturday. But I've got a wonderful guest. She's looking at me right across from the board here in the studio. I asked her just for 10 minutes of her time to talk about a fantastic installation that's going up over at All My Relations Arts here on Franklin Avenue. And she generously offered to come into the studio and spend the hour with me. So I'm going to introduce her in just a second. Also, just want to acknowledge, first of all, that we are broadcasting today from the top of the Bailey Building, which is situated on the west bank of the Mississippi River. But before that all happened, this is Dakota land, Dakota and Makoche, and also Anishinaabe and Ho-Chunk relatives also supporting us this afternoon. So we don't want to ever go too far into the hour without acknowledging that. Okay, with that said, like I was mentioning, there's a lot that's going on, and one of the great events that's coming up here, and we're lucky to have it here in the summertime when people can get out. I've been over to All My Relations Arts many times when it's very cold, but that never seems to stop the natives from coming in and taking a look at all the artwork and being inspired and sometimes impacted emotionally by what they've seen. Because I know she's been involved in a previous project at All My Relations Arts, but now she is curating solely with the help of many different Native artists, and we're going to talk with her about that in just a minute. And let me see if I can get my Ojibwe translator on here. This is Nujimo, She Heals. And it's a story, and it is going to be photographs and other depictions of aunties. We all know them in the Native community, in the Native world, Native reality, as those women, as those matriarchs who are a part of every community. And, they provide mothering and healing and support and encouragement, almost like Well, if you're lucky enough to have both your parents still alive, it's almost like having a third parent. I know what that's like with my aunts, as particularly on my mother's side, so of the family. But that's those. Let me, you know what? Let me go ahead and open this up, and I'm just going to ask her to go ahead and pronounce it for us, and I'll give you a little quick introduction about her. How is that, Hillary?
Well, first of all, my apologies if I'm misspeaking too. Nujimo.
Nujimo.
Yeah,
Okay.
means
All
she
right.
heals.
Well, you heard the wonderful voice there of Hillary Kempenich. She is Turtle Mountain Ojibwe, and she's originally from North Dakota. She's currently out of Grand Forks in North Dakota. She has been an artist, an installation artist as well, activist on many different Native women's issues, as well as art. She's a mother, a wife, and she's going to tell us a little bit more about her professional and her artistic background. And I'll just go ahead and let her introduce herself right now at this time, and then we can get started with this conversation about this wonderful show that she's curating here in Minneapolis that opens on Tuesday night.
Miigwech, thank you. Bonjour, I'm Hillary Kempenich. I am from Turtle Mountain Band of Chippewa. I've been living in Grand Forks, North Dakota for about 21 years now. Yep, I had a brief stint in Winnipeg, Manitoba, where we started our family, and then we moved back to Grand Forks. So that's kind of where I really leaped into the arts. But my entire life, I have always been exposed to the arts, and I guess it didn't take long before I could grasp a pen or pencil where I knew I wanted a career in the arts, and that's thanks to my family. I come from a line of many amazing, talented artists, and Turtle Mountain is very talented. There's so much talent, both visual and performing arts. So I'm just carrying on that tradition.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, I know. There's a couple of actors that I know who are Turtle Mountain origin, and now they reside here in the Twin Cities as well. So I appreciate that. Well, why don't we just talk a little bit more about, I guess, what they used to refer to as your motivations, or who your influences. What was there a defining moment that you felt like you knew that you wanted to be an artist, devoting your life to this career?
Again, Turtle Mountain, the people of Turtle Mountain, the beauty of Turtle Mountain. I have these very talented uncles, Bruce and Presley LaFountain, who are both sculptors, and they live down in New Mexico. And I just have always been enamored by that. And in addition to that, though, I've always had different talented family members that always just took me along. They knew I had that appreciation. So a lot of musicians, my late uncle Randy Davis, beautiful musician, and his voice can be heard on KEYA pretty much every day when they do their archive shows. And I had a late aunt who took me into, and I was just sharing this yesterday at All My Relations, where some of the first things I ever created were quilts. And so she took me to her sewing circle. I was probably about 4 years old, where she was having me come in and learning how to stitch. And then pretty soon we were doing blocks and stuff, that sort of thing. But I didn't silo myself. I've always wanted to explore new mediums.
Oh, that's fantastic. I was going to ask you, you mentioned about the drawing, but, what was it your first time that you were touching the medium, whatever it might be, but you refer to it, the quilts? Were they Ojibwe or star quilts or what?
Yeah. So my late Aunt Teresa Breen, she did a lot of star quilts, and so she had started me with patch quilts, and I think that actually came from when I, obviously where we came from, we didn't have a lot of accessibility to things, so I was going around the house and finding things to create clothing for my dolls and that sort of thing. So I think she saw that creativity in me, whether it's napkins or, my mom's nice towels or whatever, I was going in there and just creating stuff. So she put me into a more productive space, I suppose.
Yeah. I find that interesting because I have memories of seeing my grandmother all the way up until she became, infirmed in the last couple of years in her life. But she and my aunts, My mom wasn't as involved because we lived away in the city, but in quilting circles, I think they learned it through these Presbyterian women's circles who
Yeah.
were teaching this sort of westernized approach to apparel and home, I guess, home notions that you would
Mhm.
need in the home. It doesn't get really that cold in Oklahoma, but I can imagine in North Dakota, northern Minnesota, that
Right.
quilts and blankets are at a premium. So
Yeah.
that's very interesting. Uh, well, tell us a little bit more about. Did you then proceed into some kind of formalized training, maybe apprenticing, any fellowships or anything like that that you've been involved in to help begin to develop this artistic statement?
I mean, I just keep going back to Turtle Mountain. The community was just always so wonderful and kind and encouraging. I remember transferring schools from, it was Ojibwa Indian School, which was formerly a Catholic school, and then went to public school. And in that public school, this woman, Dorothy Allery, who's since passed, I was in fifth grade and she was sneaking me into middle school classes. So I had that access to art, which was awesome and amazing. And I'm very thankful for that. And so by the time I got to high school, it just seemed like the world decided even for me in a lot of way, or they saw that passion and just wanted to keep me going. So by the time I was in high school, I was involved in a lot of different arts programs. And that's actually the first time I got to help curate a show. Kathleen Dixon was my art teacher in high school. And she said, we're going to do a high school art show, and I want you to kind of design it. And we called it From Our Eyes. And I was telling the stories as Native youth of both the struggles and the triumphs and dreams on our reservation.
Right.
So.
Oh, that's great. So even at an early age, you were taking a leadership role in all of that. And I know over time, because you and I have talked, I don't know if you recall this, we had a radio only interview. You were down for, I think, participation in a show, but you were leading some community events. And I was trying to remember what the name of that was. Was it, I think it may have been when Angela Two Stars had just taken over the primary curatorial role over at All My Relations, and had a series of installations, and they were focused on the phenomena of missing and murdered Indigenous women. And so we were looking at a lot of different examples of art in a lot of different mediums, and I think you were a part of that. But correct me if I'm wrong. Do you remember that? Do you recall?
Yeah, it was actually, I believe it was 2018, and the show was titled "Bring Her Home," which they have actually produced a documentary on that as well.
Yes.
So it was, I believe it was a 3-part show, 3 years, and so. Of course, over that time, Angela and I had developed a relationship, and obviously there's just so many different conversations behind MMIW. And so that's actually how some of this show had come into being, because I was trying to have that conversation of, like, though I am directly impacted by missing and murdered Indigenous women, I also want to have that conversation of preventative. Like, a lot of times the work that we do is in reaction to when our Native relatives go missing. But what are we doing to prevent those situations from happening? And I believe by having those positive conversations and uplifting one another and celebrating one another, that's one way that we can do that. And also that importance of how aunties carry us in those tragic moments too. So I dedicate, for me personally, I dedicate the show in honor of my late Aunt Tiny and my aunt sister, who raised me. Like, they were kind of like that extra grandmother. So it's really exciting to be doing this.
It is. I can't wait to see it when you're completed. I know you're just getting started on the installation. We've got about a week to go. It's going to be opening next Tuesday night. That's July 19th. The opening reception begins at 6 p.m. That's at All My Relations Arts, the gallery, and that's going to be at 1414 East Franklin Avenue here in Minneapolis. I always say it's the heart of the Native community. I know there may be others over in St. Paul who might quibble with that, but that's okay. And then is there, well, it says reception, so I'm assuming there'll be some light snacks, but also powwow grants will probably be open as well. So people should plan to arrive early because with the warm weather, there might be a long line out the door.
Yeah,
So
it's a great show, and I'm so excited. It's along the American Indian Cultural Corridor, which I mean, it's so vibrant down there. Every time I come here, like my memories go back to when I was a little kid, when my grandparents would bring me here, and it's like home for me, even though I did not grow up here. But it's really exciting because we have these matriarchs part of the show. We have emerging artists, and one of the emerging artists, Diana Dakota Diaz, it's her first time showing professionally. And I actually grew up with her. We went to high school together, and I'm really excited about her because it's the first time she's ever submitted, and I was just floored by the work. It's just beautiful. The craft, the message, it is gorgeous.
I can't wait to see it. Hillary, why don't you hold that, and we'll come back after the break, and we're going to talk a little bit more about the detail of how a show like this gets it originates and how it gets started, and then certainly your role in all of that, and particularly these wonderful artists, female, women artists from the Native community who are going to be showcased in all of this. So hold on just a second. I'm going to play a few messages here, but just to remind you that we are in the middle of our summer membership pledge drive. So be sure and check us out at kfai.org. I think there may be some wonderful premiums there that you can also access depending upon what level that you might be interested in supporting us financially. Also, you can find out so much more about KFAI there. We also have merchandise as well. And then I'll just put a plug in for my own Indigeneity Rising Facebook page. So go there and like us. You'll find out more about the program every week, these wonderful guests that I have on, and then also just news from Indian country, Indian territory as well. So we'll be right back with you in just a second. Okay. How's it going?
Good.
Okay.
Might need to readjust my chair a little bit, though.
Oh, okay. Yeah, however you want to do that. That's
There we go. Much better.
Yeah. Hey, hey. It looks like there's a online reminder about people who are donating. Is that how you do we? Oh, it's gone now. I don't know if they were donating for Indigeneity Rising or some other program. It said Denise Tremblay.
Oh, that sounds like a Harold relative.
Yeah, I was assuming so, but it showed up right now. So
let's see. Go on the pledge.
Okay.
Yeah, it's for a house party.
Oh, okay. Should I mention it to him? Or wait for him to do it?
You can say, thank you, Therese.
Okay.
Just say, thank you, Therese, for
giving.
Okay. Yep.
Well, welcome back to Indigeneity Rising on KFEI Fresh Air Community Radio, 90.3 FM HD in Minneapolis and St. Paul, streaming live on the web at kfei.org. That's Art Napoleon. He's Mi'kmaq from up above the Medicine Treaty Line in those maritime provinces. And that's hunting chant. Well, like I said, welcome back to Indigeneity Rising. We're just in the middle of our summer membership pledge drive. Go to kfai.org and press on that donate page. But there's all kinds of other interesting information about KFAI. Like I said earlier, we're celebrating our 44th anniversary on the air. And you'll find out more about all this great, wonderful programming later this evening. Miguel Vargas is going to be on Radio Pocho. I think he is. I listen to him every Wednesday night about 8 p.m. So you can check that out. But there's other wonderful programs like House Party with Harold Tremblay. I think that's at 4 o'clock this afternoon. Thank you, Therese, for that contribution to support Harold's work there as well. So, I was going to mention to you tonight. There's a wonderful exhibition of men's native lacrosse. There's a team called the Turtle Islanders. They are in the Twin Cities Senior Men's League. They're going to be over at McMurray Field starting at 7 p.m. It's a doubleheader, so you can't beat that. And that's McMurray Field over in St. Paul off of Lexington Parkway, I believe. So just north of University Avenue, 7 p.m. Come out and support the Turtle Islanders, and that's the Twin Cities Men's Senior Lacrosse League. So wonderful event there as well. Okay, I am back with my guest, Hillary Kempenig, and we're just getting acquainted real-time, FaceTime here, real FaceTime in the studio. And he was just talking about the past, but now we want to talk about the present and then a little bit about the future. And then Hillary's going to stay with me when we talk with Thomas Draskovic here in just a little while. But go ahead, Hillary. I was asking you about you were starting to tell us a little bit about how this show got started, where it originates from, and tell us about this phenomena that we all know about in the Native community of aunties.
Well, it's just kind of, where do I begin? I mean, aunties just have always played a pivotal role for me growing up, and so many fellow Native people have that same sentiment, right? And it's interesting, when we were trying to come up with a name for the show, there's actually not one specific word for the word aunt in the Anishinaabe language. So we had to be a little more creative with that, but we're like, ultimately, what is that message that we want to deliver about aunties? And it's just that empowering and that healing and love that, that they provide for us. And so going forward, I had a lot of decisions to make. First of all, of course, we discussed this with Angela Two Stars, and she was talking about how she wanted us to come up with a show also about dedicated to aunties. So, and that's so funny. We're actually having this conversation where, do you say auntie or auntie? And I'm like, I think I say auntie when it's not, like when it's more intimate. And then whenever it's more professional, I say auntie. So I might be code switching as I get really into the conversation. So
Sure, I always thought it was just a north-south type thing. Everybody says auntie down south.
Yeah. My household was actually paying attention to that this weekend. They're like, oh, whenever you're casual, you say auntie. And then when you have to really think about it, it's auntie. So I really am not sure. That's something I want to pay closer attention to now that it's in the forefront of conversation. But, like we were talking about that growing up and how aunties had played that pivotal role. But now I'm in a space where I am the auntie. Honestly, I find it interesting because some of us become aunties at very young ages. I mean, I know I was 13 or 14 whenever I first became a biological auntie, and raising, and I took that role on like with diligence and really excited. And I was always there taking care of my nieces and nephews. And, it was such a privilege to be able to do that. And now that as I'm getting older, there's public spaces too where I'm being adopted as the auntie. I have youth and young adults coming up to me and just asking me to be an auntie to help guide them and just provide space for them and everything. And that's really important. And that is kind of highlighted in the show. So when we were coming through and trying to conceptualize the show, I knew the people that I wanted to invite, but I also wanted to keep it open I wanted to make sure that we were being inclusive and providing opportunity too. So we have about 20 artists, and half of them are invited featured artists. And then we had a juried process also. So really excited. I have Sharon Day. I mean, for me, she's the ultimate auntie. I was really excited to meet her years ago through water walking. That's when I had met her. So excited to have her work in that space. Nandanis Rose Green, she's the featured artist on our promotional material. I just met her a few years ago also, and it's just amazing to see her. Yep,
you can show that on the camera.
Oh, yes, sorry. Here we go. I forgot that the camera was there for a second. So she's just amazing, a wonderful photographer, and she also has that message of empowering Indigenous women also. We have Soma Holland. Their poem that they provided for the show, it brought me to tears, and every time I read it again, it's really beautiful. And they're talking about the process of how their aunties have helped them over time, especially as their mother, Secretary Deb Haaland, has come into this new role. And so that it's an amazing piece of work, and I relate to it so much, where they're talking about how those aunties have, they're making, I imagine making fry bread or gullet or bannock, as this description. But I actually wanted to quote part of that, because this is the part that really just really brings to me. And it says, so in one of the lines, it says, "Although someday I will have to remember your laugh by heart, your hands will be my hands." And it kind of breaks me, but it puts me back together too, because it's just, I have so many aunts that I've lost over the years. So that was really perfect. And the poem's titled "By Hand, by Heart." And so there's a lot of emotion in the show, of course, because we're talking about that healing process. And there's just different conversations of what are we healing from, undoing that trauma, breaking that trauma. Again, I had mentioned Diana Dakota, and she shares how she didn't have those family relations. And so her and her sister are now unbreaking that trauma, and they're, showing that strength. And so one of my favorite pieces is she stands up for herself. And it's just this beautiful black and white photograph. And it shows so much strength and resilience. So
that's a wonderful panorama that you've described there with this idea of aunties. I guess I was thinking about it as surrogate mothers, but I think we're all familiar now with the trauma of the boarding school experience of many of our elders, many of our relatives, and so many young girls had to become aunties for younger siblings, cousins, and even just other children within the institution there. And so that carries over into our communities as well. And I think it really is kind of honors the traditional matriarchal role that Native women played in the community or the village or the tribe, being that, I guess the anchor within the community as well. So they took care of so many things, not just the teepee or the lodge or the children, but also leadership and visioning for the future of the people as well. So I like how you're drawing off of that with many of these artists. Is it mostly from the upper Midwest, most of the artists?
So Soma Holland is Pueblo, and she lives in the Lenape land.
Wow, okay,
so
yeah.
We
back
do,
east.
Yep,
Yeah.
and then we do have Tara Gumapak, who is Native Hawaiian, and I had actually met her through one of my many fellowships, so Intercultural Leadership Institute, and that was bringing artists together as we were taking on leadership roles.
Okay.
So. Right. It's really exciting, but it is very predominant Anishinaabe community, and I don't know if that's from my reach or that's who
responded.
Yeah.
Well, without putting you on the spot and saying, well, pick some of the favorites, or what do you want to highlight? Is there anything in particular that you would like the listening audience to be sure and check when they come on Tuesday night?
it's all so amazing. But you need to take time, because we when I was talking about inclusion, I wanted to make sure that we are welcoming all forms of artwork. And so we do have some videography that will be included. So that's really exciting. So Tanea Winder is going to be, she has this very beautiful video where it's part song, part poem. And then Eve Lauren LaFountain, who is my cousin, she lives down in Santa Fe, New Mexico, and she has a video, and it's showing the Turtle Mountains, and then just the different aunties doing their things in the video. So that's really wonderful. And then Tanea has several other poems that are audio. So so there's time to really be in the space.
Right.
So, and we have a lot of textile art too.
Multimedia. I was going to ask about textiles. And, like you're describing, that's an approach that I always take, especially when some of these shows are on display for quite a while, to go back multiple times. The opening reception is next Tuesday night, but it looks like you're also going to be available back again in August, on August the 11th, 6:30 p.m. with a curator's talk. And then there will be a closing reception and an artist panel in September the 9th, from 6 to 8. So some wonderful events. People can set up tours, I think, as well.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
know they're open to that. So it's going to be a great event. That's going to be at All My Relations Art again, 1414 East Franklin Avenue. And you've just heard from Hillary Kempenich, and she's going to be working really hard between now and Tuesday, and hopefully she'll get a little break. It's so wonderful that you were able to come in and spend some time with us. I'm always curious, and maybe we can get some time to see how these shows are put together, with people having to submit, and then shipping, and then your decision, mapping it all out within the space that's there, and even some of the construction that's gone on. I've been over there when they've been putting shows together as well. So any last things you want to say? Maybe say hello to the kids back home, to hubby.
Break a Leg, Niska tonight, High School Musical. I guess one of the things is I'm also involved with Indian Collective right now for the Collective Abundance Fund. We are in the last days of gathering surveys, so seek them out, and please fill out a survey. I would greatly appreciate that. And then
how do they find that? Is it just Indian Collective? NDN?
ndncollective.org. So, and I could throw that up on my website or on my Facebook page and all that, so they can find it a little easier if needed. And then I'm going to be at Watermark Art Festival this weekend showing my own work. So it's a very busy next few days. So,
that's back up in, is it Bemidji?
Bemidji, yep.
Yeah, okay.
So that'll be on Saturday and Sunday.
You'll be burning up that I-94 here between now and next Tuesday. So.
Yeah, gas prices are so affordable.
Yeah, tell me about it. All right, well, it's wonderful that you're here with us. It's wonderful you're here with us for a little while in the Twin Cities. I know you'll be back and forth. I'm just so appreciative that you were able to come in. We're able to get acquainted, and then we'll see each other on Tuesday. I'm going to be there for sure. So let's see. I've got to take a quick break here. Just want to remind you, though, you're listening to Indigeneity Rising, KFAI Fresh Air Community Radio, 90.3 FM HD in Minneapolis and St. Paul, and streaming live on the web at kfai.org. I'm going to take just one message or so, and then we'll be back. And then we're going to get Thomas Draskovic, Dakota from the Pretendians on the line with us. We're going to talk a little bit about the Lynn Lake Art and Community Festival this weekend, which they're going to be appearing at. So I'll be right back with you. This is Roy Taylor.
Programming is supported by Hennepin Health.
Okay, this is going to go right into the...
All right, so you're going to, when you come back from the promos, you're going to play the song?
Is that what I do first, right? Okay.
I mean, if you want to. If I don't know if you want to introduce the song, you don't have to. You can go straight into the song if you want to.
No, I should have mentioned that, but I guess I won't. So do I shut off StreamYard or leave it running?
Leave it running.
Okay.
No problem.
Okay.
Just
Where's the
whenever the
virtual
promos
DJ?
end, just Did you find virtual DJ?
Yep, it's right
All
here.
When the promo ends, or you can fade down on Rivendell if you want,
Right.
or whatever. But that's how you.
That's
play
what
the
we've
song.
got going here is Jim Boyd. So I'm just going to let him say his piece, and then I'll start to move into Pretendians.
Okay.
She won't be able to hear if she doesn't have the
I'll put 'em back.
cans on, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll put 'em
Right.
back on.
So if you want to listen to the interview, the phone interview, then you can put those back on. Okay. And this is on the board, so or comp.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Correct. All right.
All right. So then
Go
we
ahead
got.
and dial the number.
Yep. Let's hope he answers. Pull this off.
Yep.
Okay. So
Just go ahead and dial. Just start dialing.
okay. Where's that? 695. And then send.
Yeah. What did it say?
So sorry, you can't complete the call. I'm
Right.
going to do the zip code. I mean the air code. Yeah. Usually you don't.
Trying to clear my head, all colors in a good spread.
There you go.
Yeah, that shadow.
Hey, Thomas, it's Roy. Okay, I'm going to put you on hold, and then the next time you hear me, we're going to be live, okay? Okay. Let's
So hit hold. Yep.
I'll transfer,
Yep.
right?
Yeah, hold's fine. You can hang up the phone.
Okay.
And now you go to the Zoom on the computer right here. And then you can hover above this blue dot right here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then go ahead and click it. All right.
Okay.
So remember, so they're hearing the broadcast right now.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So then the next thing you have to do here, go ahead and you can underscore this. That way you can watch this file.
Mm-hmm.
And then you click ear trumpet right here. And then this is the Zoom.
Yeah.
That's Zoom.
All right.
So whenever this song ends, you click Zoom to unmute it,
Mm-hmm.
and then it'll be straight to them
Okay.
on the computer track.
Okay. Can I leave this up so you can hear it in the studio monitors, but also listening at the same time, or will go into the phone, cut it off? Do you know?
No, no, like because your mics aren't on. That's
Oh,
why you can
okay.
hear it. That's
All
why
right,
you can hear
well,
the monitor.
Yeah, mine is going to have to go on then. Okay.
Yeah, you're gonna have to
Okay.
put on your headphones,
Okay.
turn on your mic,
Okay.
and then they'll be able to hear you.
Okay.
But yeah, it won't be coming through the monitors. You'll have to have headphones on to hear the phone call.
Okay. What more do I have? Oh, that. Okay. All right.
Do you
That's
wanna fade down sooner?
fine. No, that's okay.
No,
Well,
'cause-
I guess we can.
Because you can just click and drag that down.
Oh, okay.
All right. So watch. Or you don't have to do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
You
right,
can
so-
grab the mouse. You can click and drag that fader down. Go ahead. All right. You go ahead and turn on your mic too if you want to start. That.
Yeah, that's Thomas Draskovic, Lakota and Dakota, and he is lead singer, composer, I believe lead guitar as well with the Pretendians. And you've got some wonderful other Lakota artists with him as well on that track. And that was Whose Hand? So I hope you enjoyed that. In fact, we've got him on the line with us right now. He's going to talk with us about this coming Saturday. Hi, oh, I should say, oh, Thomas, how are you? Good. It's good to hear from you. Say, we know each. Well, thanks for taking the time as well. We know each other from the Guthrie's Native Advisory Committee that we serve on as well. But also, you and I go back a ways when you stepped in and assisted with Chief Bromden in a stage role back when I was injured. So it's wonderful to keep keep that connection alive here. And so you've been on the show. In fact, the Pretendians were on, I think, back in February when you were looking at that nomination for the Native American Music Awards. And do you have an update on that? I think you November. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Can people still make their preference known or vote? Okay. All right. It's going to take a while. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, you know what? I won't hold you up too long here. I know you've got other duties today, but tell us a little bit about the events that are going on. I know you've got one. Is it Friday? And then you've got this big one at the Lynn Lake Arts Community Festival right behind the Jungle Theater there in the parking lot. That's going to be great. I'm going to be there as well. So I was just telling Hillary earlier, well, I'm going to be at All My Relations next Tuesday, but I'm going to be there at behind the Jungle there on Saturday afternoon as well. So tell us a little bit more about that. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, literally at the intersection or the northeast quadrant of Lyndale Avenue and east or west. Yeah, is it east or west? Oh, I think it's West Lake Street. Yeah, yeah, okay. And you got one of my favorite drummers there, Hambone Chillin, or as she likes to go by, Christina. And then tell us a little the other two folks in the band there. Mm. Rhythm guitar. Okay, all right. I was looking at, we were looking at earlier some of the offerings on virtual DJ here. So you got quite a few. Are you also, you must be on SoundCloud and other venues like that? Okay. Right, right. Because I know you said when you talk about expanding your reach, you're going out to the coast, right? West Coast soon? All native all the time. Yeah. Well, you've got something coming up on Friday too, isn't it? At one of the distilleries or breweries here. To somebody who can't make it on Saturday or Sunday. Oh, okay. Oh, well, okay. Oh, great. That's because so we can expect some original music on Saturday afternoon as well. And I was going to ask that. Yeah. Okay. Okay. All right. Well, Thomas, I'll look forward to seeing you and all the gang there on Saturday afternoon. So, welcome for stopping in here this afternoon and talking with us. I think it's going to be a great weekend for the Pretendians, and then later in August, and as you head out to the West Coast. So, thanks again, Thomas. Oh, it's nice to hear. Okay, well, I'll probably see you on the call on Sunday afternoon too, hopefully. Okay, all right, bye bye. All right, well, that was my guest, Thomas Draskovic, and we're just finishing up the hour here. We've had a wonderful conversation with Hillary Kempenick as well, and so finishing it out with Thomas. Just want to remind you that about this event that's coming up on Tuesday evening. That's going to be at 6 o'clock. The opening reception for She Heals, and that's going to be All My Relations Art, 1414 East Franklin Avenue. And then right before that, Friday and Saturday, if you go to the Pretendians website, you can find out more about those events. But I'll be at the Lynn Lake Art Fest on Saturday afternoon about 2 p.m. So come down and say hello. Just like we were at Open Streets last week. All right, I got to play one last message, and then we'll be right back with Brother Keith and signing off here. So I'll be right back with you in just a minute. Okay, we've got somebody who'll be coming in to take over at 2 o'clock, and then you and I can go out if you don't mind. I'll take a few pictures.
Got a stack of postcards here.
Oh yeah, we'll put one up on the board, and then
Yeah, I got a picture of a sign here.
Visitors can learn about the science behind
sure, yeah, go ahead.
How to advocate for climate justice, and how to support bold actions informed by science. Action for Earth with the Science Museum of Minnesota. More at smm.org/action.
Okay, hey, I just want to thank my guests this afternoon, Hillary Kempenich and Thomas Draskovic. It's great to have a guest come back into the studio this afternoon. Hopefully, as the summer wears on, we'll be doing more and more of that. So, got to get in my little steel pony and head out here. I don't know. In fact, I may be making a little stop here over there at Powwow Ground. So, Bob, heat up that fry bread for me. So. Okay, I will see you right back here next Wednesday at 1 p.m. Central Daylight Time, or I should say Central Turtle Island Time here. So, all right, here he comes. You know it. It's Brother Keith with Indian Cars. Remember, Indigeneity Rising. Indigeneity all the time, and indigeneity forever. I'll see you later at the 49. Okay. Thank you very much for all that engineering support. I should have mentioned that. Sure. Have a good show, and I'll see you next week.
See you later at the 49.
Okay. Take care of that little girl.
Do my best.